so fancy. How weird does it feel that 1 month of 2017 is already nearly over? This is just crazy. Time is moving way faster than I was prepared for. But the exciting thing about this is that I get to do my first ever BookTube wrap-up. So I'm here to talk to you about all the books that I have read so far in January, the books that I haven't yet finished, which I will be moving over to February, and also to choose a new TBR from my TBR jar for the first time. So first book for the month was Everything is Illuminated. Some key describing words for this book would include magical realism, autobiography, World War II, Ukraine, humour, contemporary fiction, unreliable narrator. Some key themes that this book covered include memory and remembering, the concept of truth versus fiction, and of course illumination, which is the title of the book. Everything is the way it is because everything was the way it was. Second book for the month was Cannery Road. Some key words to describe this book would include character-driven, humour, classics, literature, historical fiction, American culture, maybe. Some key things that this book covered included the power of community and connection and the debate of what it means to be really rich, whether it's money or whether it's something else that is what makes you truly rich in life. I think they're just like everyone else, they just haven't any money. No, but they could get it, Doc said. They could ruin their lives and get money. They're all very clever if they want something. They just know the nature of things too well to be caught in the wanting. Third book was The Book Thief. Keywords to describe this novel, obviously young adult fiction, historical fiction, World War II, Germany, Holocaust. Key themes that this book explored include the power of words, the importance of freedom of speech and death. I will never fire a gun, he said. I will not have to. Still, he was not rash. He was not a stupid man at all. His first plan of attack was to plant the words in as many areas of his homeland as possible. He planted them day and night and cultivated them. He watched them grow until eventually great forests of words had risen throughout Germany. It was a nation of farmed thoughts. Final book that I actually finished in January was this adorable little graphic novel called El Defo. And I can't stop raving about this book because it's just so adorable. Some key describing words for this novel would be graphic novel, obviously, and I would say middle fiction in terms of age bracket, deafness, autobiography, own voices. Key themes in this book include friendship and finding friendship, and also the debate of whether or not deafness is considered a disability or whether it's an alternative ability. I am sure there are plenty of deaf people who would read the descriptions above and not recognize themselves at all. I am an expert on no one's deafness but my own. Alrighty, so the first of the books that I didn't finish in January but will continue to read into February, of course, is Catch-22. I'm not going to say too much more about this because obviously I haven't read it, so second book that I didn't quite finish in January and will continue to read into February is Between the World and Me. This is the book that I borrowed from the library for Diversathon. I am about halfway through it. I'm loving it. It's very, very beautifully written and very thought-evoking. Third book that I didn't finish in January but will continue reading throughout this next month of February is The Good Immigrant. This is the collection of short stories that I also got for Diversathon. I've read 2 of them so far. They've both been wonderful and they're so far this has been really, really, really good read. Very, very well written. Some very interesting writers. So that's all the books that are being transferred over from January to February. I've been jokingly calling these my bros because they're being read ongoing. Sounds really dumb, but now I'm gonna keep calling them that. So these are my bros for February. First actual TBR for February, of course, is Homegoing. I talked about this last week. This is a fictional novel of the 2 sisters, one of whom becomes a slave and the other one becomes a slave's wife, and it follows the generations following on from those 2 sisters to America and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So that will be one of my reads for February. The second TBR for February will be the Read, React, Repeat book club book for the month, which hasn't been decided yet, but I've been following the poll on Twitter and it's looking like it's going to be Illuminae, and I am very excited because every time I see any photos of that book on Instagram or anyone talk about it on YouTube, it just looks so unique and so interesting, and I'm really, really excited to read that. So fingers crossed that that wins the poll and we get to read that. Because if it's anything else, I'm just going to read Illuminae anyway, so suck it. I'm sorry, don't really, but I'm really excited to read Illuminae, and I hope that that's it, because then I'll have an excuse to read it. And the final one, so the final TBR for January, no, it's not January anymore. So the final TBR for February, not January, as I've now said for the third time, has not actually been decided yet, because I am about to pull it out of this magical TBR jar. Are you ready, guys? I'm so excited. Oh, this is way more difficult than I'd hoped. This one. Are you ready? It's... Oh, okay. The Leopard. The Leopard by... The scroll is really... It's not a very practical idea of turning them into really cute little scrolls, because now I can't unfurl them. There we go. The Leopard by Giuseppe Tomasi di Lampedusa? I'm so sorry, Giuseppe, I just totally mangled your name, but that's what I'm reading. This is why I wanted to have a TBR jar, because I did not expect that at all. I have a little, like, a list of some ideas that I had for themes for the months, because of the fact that I made January into Planuary, and I was enjoying talking about organization and stuff. And so I thought that as the start of the month thing, I would reveal the theme for February, but I haven't actually decided on the theme for February, so I'm just desperately kind of glancing over the list of possible ideas that I wrote onto the computer and trying to pick one spare of the moment. I was hoping to kind of pick something a bit light-hearted for February, just to kind of balance out the fact that I made a lot of posts about, like, organizing and goals and shit, but I feel like it would be better to be true to what I'm more interested in and what I'm more thinking about and passionate about at the moment. And that is probably more like the idea of active reading, because obviously that's something that I've talked about a bit, is trying to read more deeply and to think more about the books that I'm reading. And that's something that I kind of want to explore, whether or not I'm doing it right and things like that. So I think that an overarching theme for February will be me sort of talking about discussions about whether or not we should be actively reading, the best ways to read actively, and to, you know, take notes on the books that you're reading. And included in that, I might actually do a little bit of a reveal of my rating system for books, because I have been thinking a lot about how I want to rate the books that I read, just as like a mini summary of my opinion of a book. So I'll add that into it as well. So I guess the theme for February is, I don't know, reading deeply, reading critically, active reading, reading habits, how to read, something like that. I don't know. But they're the kind of topics that I'm interested in, and I think they kind of fit into a bubble together into like a theme. So that's February for you. Non-bookish news, in case you're interested, I went to the zoo yesterday. I got a zoo membership for the year for my birthday, and it only takes 3 trips to the zoo to pay off the membership, and I went yesterday for the first time, so that's 1 out of 3 down. I don't really know why I'm telling you this, but it was really fun, and I actually made a little bit of a mini video of some of the things that I did at the zoo, which I might upload to share with you guys as well, just in case you guys are interested in looking at videos of butterflies. Dunno. This week, hopefully, for my channel, I will be uploading a review of The Book Thief, finally. I've been sort of working on compiling my thoughts over the last couple of weeks, just because I don't like to give immediate reviews of reactions to things. I want to make sure that this is a reaction that is actually my ongoing opinion of a book, rather than just my immediate thought. So I'll be doing that. So I'll see you in the comments for a chat about the books that I'm reading for February. If any of you are interested in any of those books at all, or you've read them and you want to have a chat to me about them, I'll see you there. Otherwise, I'll see you on Thursday for my Book Thief review video, if you're interested in that or you've read that and you want to know what I think about that too. And until then, stay classic. I'm sure you're all wondering why I gathered you here today. Well, the truth is, I have some buttons for you to click.